this video, we'll learn how TopBraid Enterprise Vocabulary Net, or EVN, lets you create a batch of proposed changes, and how vocabulary management staff members can review those changes and, if they have the right permissions, put those changes into production or reject them. When these staff members use TopBraid EVN, instead of forcing them to use a specific workflow path, EVN offers them a choice of features that they can assemble into the workflow path that works best for them. In this video, we'll look at how these features typically get combined to let a team enter, review, and manage a set of changes. We'll start by creating a working copy called February Edits. Like all working copies, it's a virtual copy of the production vocabulary that can be edited and reviewed without affecting the production copy. Each working copy has its own management screen where, among other things, we assign a specific set of access rights for this working copy. Here, Jane is being assigned an editor role so that she can edit data in the working copy but not perform working copy manager tasks such as reassigning the roles of others or moving the working copy from one workflow stage to another. When you edit a working copy, you have the same interface and features that you have when editing a production copy. Here, we're renaming the preferred label value of West Indies to Caribbean and assigning it a verified date value. Multiple people can make edits to the same working copy, if someone with manager privileges over that working copy gave them permission to. Earlier, I assigned Jane Smith an editor role so that she can also make changes to this working copy. If you want to know whether changes have been made to this same concept in other working copies, pick Show Affected Working Copies from the Action menu at the bottom of the EVN screen. In this case, we see that Jane Smith has added a scope note to this concept in a working copy called Region 3 Edits. If I saw that she had edited the preferred label value, I would know that I should get in touch with her to coordinate our plans. On this vocabulary's production management screen, we can see that it has multiple different working copies. The February Edits one that I just created is one of the uncommitted working copies, and there are additional working copies in other workflow stages that we'll learn about shortly. When we look at this vocabulary's production copy, we can see that the changes I made to the February Edits working copy that I created earlier have had no effect on the production copy. This concept is still called West Indies and has no verified date. If you're a manager for an uncommitted working copy like February Edits, you'll see three choices for ways to change its status in the workflow. Let's look at Freeze for Review. When a working copy is frozen for review, the Edit Working Copy link becomes a View Working Copy link, even for users who have manager or editor access to this working copy. Selecting it lets you navigate and search the working copy as you normally would in EVN, but the Edit button at the bottom of the screen is grayed out to show that you can't select it and make changes to the data. The number on the Comments button in the lower right shows how many comments have been added to this concept within this working copy. Anyone viewing a working copy can add a comment to it, even if it's frozen for review. Here, we see the administrator looking at comments in Jane's Region 3 Edits working copy and adding an additional one. This ability to add comments is especially useful during the review period for a given working copy because comments by different users on a particular concept form a thread of conversation. In a typical workflow, a review period is a popular time to run reports about a working copy's proposed changes. On a working copy management screen, the comparison report is especially useful because it shows the differences between this working copy and the production copy that it's based on. In other words, it shows what changes will be made to the production copy when you commit this working copy. This report shows that the production copy's West Indies concept has a name of Caribbean in the working copy, and that the working copy also has a verified date value that's not in the production copy. Another handy report is View Change History, which shows a chronological list of changes made to this working copy. Selecting one of the time-stamped change records lists details about that change at the bottom of the screen. From a working copy management screen, you can reject a working copy's proposed changes, which will list it under Rejected Working Copies on the Production Copies Management page. On the management screen of a rejected working copy, you can select Allow Further Changes to let staff members make additional edits to this working copy. You can commit a working copy's changes to production, whether it's in frozen status or it's an uncommitted working copy that people can currently edit. Now, when we view the production copy, we can see that West Indies does have its new name and verified date. After I rejected this working copy's changes, instead of allowing further changes, I could have deleted it by picking Delete this working copy. In this video, we saw how TopBraid EVN lets you create a batch of proposed changes known as a working copy, and then put that working copy through the workflow that suits you best. You can make a working copy available to multiple users at once by assigning them the appropriate permissions. You can freeze a working copy for a review period where a variety of reports let you evaluate your changes, and users with manager privileges can either commit a working copy to production or reject and optionally delete it. For added flexibility, there's no limit to the number of working copies you can have, and for ease of use, the user interface for adding proposed changes to a working copy is the same as the interface for editing production copies directly. Let us know whether you'd like us to set up your own remote demo installation of EVN by contacting us at evn_demo@topquadrant.com. We'd be happy to discuss how our products can help you turn your vocabularies and other structured and unstructured information assets into a semantic ecosystem, the next step in data evolution.